Welcome everyone! Adam the Woo here. As the recording of this, I am wearing an appropriate t-shirt. Friday, June 13th, 2025. The only, as far as I know, Friday the 13th in all of 2025. There hasn't been one prior, and there hasn't been one, or there will not be one till the end of the year. So gotta make the best of this one. Gonna meet up with a friend over on International Drive. From there, who knows what the heck kind of spooky goodness we will get into. I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? One of my favorite horror franchises. It's a little cheesy, but it's a lot of fun. I have the NES tape right down here. I kind of miss the days, my generation, with Star Wars, where you can call the walker an AT-AT. Now people say AT-AT, but my generation always called it an AT-AT. And you could also, when you were imitating Jason Voorhees sounds, could go ch-ch-ch, ha-ha-ha. Of course, now everyone says it's ma-ma-ma. But I'm a ch-ch-ch, ha-ha-ha kind of guy, generation. But out of all of them, I think probably part 3 is my favorite. I love them all, but I think I have a soft spot for part 3. In fact, I have part of the original dock before they redid it out at the movie ranch north of L.A. This is part of the original dock where Jason first donned his mask. Spoiler alert, but he didn't have it in the first and second one. In fact, he really wasn't in the first one much at all, but the second one he was. And he wore a sack. And then the mask showed up in part 3, which is that one. And he was standing on this piece of wood right here. I got a little souvenir. I think with the internet and also DVD commentary and more information at our disposal, it's a lot different than when we were young. When I was young, growing up with the movies, it was always the and, my friends and I always called the walkers AT-ATs. Later on, people said AT-AT. Also, Frankenstein. I always called the monster Frankenstein. I never called him Frankenstein's monster. But now people are correct to always say, oh, that's not Frankenstein. Frankenstein was a doctor. That's Frankenstein's monster. But I'm always going to call him Frankenstein. I think Big the Foot does as well. Anyway, just a generational thing. One thing's for sure, I am looking forward to the day when they get this interchange, I-4, eastbound. Westbound, they kind of got cleared up a little bit, but westbound, they got cleared up, but eastbound, still bottlenecks as you're going past the Disney parks, well, parallel to the Disney parks on I-4 and over towards the former crossroads. Man, it's always backed up through here. I don't know if Scott on Tap was working at that Starbucks, because he always calls me Alan the Woo. I call him Scott on Tap, but take a look. Yeah, large coffee for Alan. Got a large coffee for
Alan?
For Alan. Mike is here.
Allen?
Oh yeah, Tim Allen. Okay. See what you did there.
How many takes did you think he did in the studio for that?
I don't know, but the opening song for Home Improvement's like one of the funniest
It
ever.
is the wackiest thing in the world.
It's interesting because today is a horror holiday, if you will. And if I would not have got the sugar-free vanilla added to this, which is like an extra 80 cents, the original total of this was $666.
No.
I swear it was $666. But because I got the vanilla added to it, the sugar-free vanilla added was another 80 cents on top of it. But it rang up $666. I'm like, I'm kind of glad I got the vanilla on top of there.
Well, Alan, you were safe now.
Micah was asking me where I got this shirt, and I probably got it in here where Spooky Empire used to happen. Spooky Empire doesn't happen here anymore because they're... last time we were here, we were thinking maybe they would leave this building and tear down everything else, and I think we might have been right.
Yeah.
Since last time we were here, they have the security cameras in place. Photos out front. Pretty sure I got this shirt from one of the vendors inside this building. I don't know. I go to a lot of conventions, so it's hard to remember. Grass is pretty tall. It could be like a Sasquatch in there. Things very seriously here. This is iDrive security. Did not realize that International Drive had security.
Me neither.
I think it's a decoy car.
I don't know.
Micah and I were here, what, 3 or 4 months ago, I think. And they really haven't done a whole heck of a lot to the debris. They've torn it down, but the debris is still here. Do you have a favorite Friday the 13th film? If you had to choose.
3 and 4.
Okay.
I like 3 because the 3D is so awesome.
I was saying 3.
4, I love Tommy Jarvis' character.
Yeah,
Corey
Feldman.
It's cool. I like it.
Crispin Glover in part 4. I didn't like 5.
The weird dance he does.
5 I don't really like.
6 was fun.
6 is good.
Jason
7's
Lives with the sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Other than that,
6 and 3 were 6, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Something about part 3. That was when he first got his mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of
1 and
nice.
2 kind of like, I remember being a kid and I knew about the masks before. It's my stepbrother was always wearing stuff and talked about he had a mask and he would paint it himself, and I finally watched 1 and I'm like, where's the hockey mask, dude?
All right, so we got a few things we were just talking about on the agenda today for this only Friday the 13th of 2025. So we're going to head off iDrive now and go to those spots. Don't really have a major game plan, but I'm sure some things will come to fruition. There's a Jason mural. We might go by that. We also might go by a street on Crystal Lake. I don't know, maybe even go by a record store. Who knows? Who knows? We have made the commute. About a half hour. About close to a half hour. Let's call it 25 minutes. They dare me to shop here. It's a one-of-a-kind horror store. Horror store. Sometimes when I say that, it sounds like I'm saying something else. My parents tell the story when we had some church friends over when I was very young. And they were saying, what kind of stuff do you like? Oh, I like... They're like, what kind of stuff do you enjoy? Oh, I like horror movies. Horror movies.
Horror movies.
When I was young, I didn't add the second R.
Yeah.
You got it.
Horror.
There he is right there. This is his day. Also, is it his birthday?
It is his
as well? Because he was born
Yep.
on Friday the 13th.
It's his birthday.
So it's also happy birthday to Voorhees. Look at the arm coming out like Evil Dead here. We're
All the stuff on the ear too.
atomic horror. Horror. We're gonna pop inside. No disrespect to Michael, but this is not his day. He'll have his time. He has an entire season. He has an entire season. There it is, right there. Right here on Colonial Drive, they have t-shirts, books, collectibles, art, figures, etc. Right here next to the smoke shop. There it is. Oh, you want to get a little tatty? Dude, we were just talking about this. 60 bucks.
Cash only.
I was mentioning this in Astoria because I was going to get a Goonies tattoo. Justin and I were going to get matching Goonies tattoos. The problem isn't the cash. The problem is how long you got to wait for them to prepare to do the tattoo.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, even a small tattoo, you're still in the tattoo shop a couple hours.
Yeah.
You know.
It takes some time. It will take like a whole day for a larger piece.
There he is, right there.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe the photo ops moved out here.
Maybe it's different. Yep.
They did rearrange a little bit inside since the last time I was in here, maybe a year and a half ago. I lose track of time a lot, but still had quite a bit of merchandise. They had a lot more t-shirts than I can remember. They had really just a cavalcade of, horror film t-shirts in there as well. And they had the tattoo area set up in there as well. So it wasn't like an off-site tattoo place. They moved the Jason photo op out of the way, and they had a couple tattooists in there with their table set up if you wanted to get a 13 tattoo or a hockey mask tattoo or something like that. Didn't really know what I was going to purchase. I wanted to get something from the store. I ended up getting a t-shirt. I ended up getting a Poltergeist t-shirt. But there's definitely, as it gets closer to the Halloween season, definitely have to come back in and stock up on some clothing and some collared shirts and things. This is located right across from the municipal airport over there on Colonial. Highway 50, Colonial Drive. Not too far from Orlando. See the clouds all kind of formulating. So usually when they're not doing the tattoos, you can go over here and get a photo with this guy, but on his day, on his birthday, he's just staying away from everyone, which is probably good. We're guarded by this glass here. And this might be the only, well, Old Town has the kind of like a store like this as well. But other than that, I can't think of really a whole lot else in Orlando that has like a horror themed stores. Can you?
No. If this place starts selling VHS and vinyl, it's over with. That's it.
They had a couple vinyl, but they didn't have a big selection. Only had like 4 or 5. Reminds me, we got to go by a record store. We got to get some kind of themed vinyl. Pick this up. Kind of a vintagey Poltergeist shirt. I mean, Poltergeist is definitely a vintage film, 80s film. Mike and I were discussing how it's kind of like the unofficial E.T. 2. Whenever I watch Poltergeist, I feel like I'm watching E.T. in some ways. Kind of has the same humor. And there's the rumors that Spielberg actually directed some of Poltergeist, but I don't know if that's ever been confirmed. But I really like this. It's filmed on the same streets.
Yeah.
And there's the photo of the Poltergeist cast and the E.T. cast, kids all hanging out together on the same streets.
Yeah, it looks more like a Steven Spielberg film.
I wonder if Spielberg would wear this shirt. Next time I see him, I'm going to ask. He's been popping up a lot lately in my life. Well, once. He walked by me at a rapid pace. All right, we made another short commute over to Crystal Lake. Corner of Hargill and Crystal Lake Drive. And we were cruising along, and Micah noticed outside of the window, right here on Crystal Lake in Hargill, there are 2 chairs. Just there are 2 free chairs right there. But there is a skunk mobile. Look at this. There is a skunk mobile over here. What the heck is this? It's the Funky Skunk. It's the Funky Skunk. Yeah, it's the Funky Skunk. That skunk is basically having its way with the truck. Oh wow, you know what? Is the Funky Skunk really an animal? Because look, there's a cage on the front of the truck. Do they drive around with the skunk?
Dude, maybe he catches skunks.
He's a skunk catcher. It's got the little googly eyes. Right there, the Funky Skunk. What if that skunk's name is Voorhees? Everyone driving down Crystal Lake Drive is in fear of a masked villain they did not expect to have it one-upped by the Funky Skunk. That's a real thing. Who knew? All right, right on the corner of Crystal Lake and another road. Curry Ford and Crystal Lake Corner is right there. This is also home to Floyd's Barbershop, which is a chain of barbershops all across the U.S. And there's an artist, Never. He paints all these different pop culture figures. There's a Back to the Future mural here, but on this side of the building, this is an appropriate mural, a Say Anything mural.
Yeah.
But also, Voorhees. That's quite the mashup. I understand the Voorhees because it's Crystal Lake Drive, but I don't understand the Say Anything mashup. I'm not complaining, because this is awesome. You got the hockey mask, classic 80s mashup, got the radio. Who do you think he's trying to win over? Whose heart is he trying to win over?
I don't know. Could be any of the Camp Counselor kids. But I'm not sure who'd be obsessed with him. Tommy Jarvis? Come on, Tommy. Come out to play.
Jarvis is still living.
Yeah.
Everyone else has passed on.
That's
no
true.
Thanks to this guy. This is an ode to Tommy Jarvis.
He's playing The Goonies Are Good Enough.
That is a cool mural. That is cool.
Never 1959.
Yeah, Never 1959. That's who it is. Got Never Here. Then you've also got Never 1959. He's done a lot of great stuff. I never really have understood why the Back to the Future is here, because usually he'll put stuff coinciding with different areas. Like you got the Enchantment of the Sea Marty over there. You got Hill Valley. You got the clock tower, 10:04, the correct time right up there. And then of course Voorhees on the other corner. One thing that's kind of interesting, we followed Crystal Lake Drive. There are 3 different lakes on the road. None of them have the name Crystal Lake. So evidently there was never a Crystal Lake, actual body of water on the right off of the drive, or there used to be when the road was named, and since then they have changed the name of said lake, which is kind of confusing that they have lakes on the drive, on the road, but not have one named Crystal Lake on Crystal Lake Drive. And for a minute I thought there was going to be another odd coincidence, because right on the corner there is Morristown Road. And at first I thought, oh, Morristown is where the original Friday the 13th was filmed, but it's actually Blairstown.
Blairstown.
But I was like, oh, how weird would that be if it was Morristown? But Morristown Road is right there.
There's a New Jersey road.
There is a New Jersey.
Down here, yeah.
And it was filmed in Jersey.
Yeah.
It's a crazy route.
That's him.
You're all doomed.
You're all doomed.
You're doomed. There's a curse on this place. Ventured over into the Milk District now, next to this embroidery place, not far from where we just were. And both Micah and myself quickly whipped our head around when we noticed this place we had never seen before. I've never seen it before. Retro Records. Look at this. Retro Records looks to be like a newish, well, new to me, record store over here in the Milk District. Right there. So they're going to pop in. They are open Monday through Saturday, noon to 5. No, noon to 6. Monday through Saturday, noon to 6. Retro Records, going to pop in. I kind of want to get like a spooky retro album. I mean, Friday the 13th album would be good too, but I don't know if the soundtrack would be good. But if I get something spooky-ish to get... This is kind of the unofficial early kickoff for the spooky season.
Yeah.
In June.
In June, the way it should be.
A little too early, but... Yeah, Retro Records. What road is this? This is Bumby. This is the corner of Kilgore Street. Wow, 2 words. Kill and Gore. On Friday the 13th. I got a few things. How often do you see Rhinestone on record? Dolly Parton and Stallone together singing duets. Classic Cosby.
Is that the Twin Towers?
Oh, I think it is.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was just a wee lad, I remember my dad had some of his records on vinyl. I have the Chicken Heart right there. Classic. Early Cause. Robin Williams soundtrack. Love Popeye. Not the Robin Williams soundtrack. Robin Williams as Popeye soundtrack. Love that.
Harry Nilsson did all the music for that.
One day I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Grim Life just went there.
Oh, really?
They just did a video there. Pretty good. One day I'll get there. To Malta. And then this is kind of a rare album cover also. I think they redid this album cover, The Street Survivors Without the Fire, because shortly after this was released, obviously they perished in a plane crash.
MCA Records.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
MCA.
So there.
That's sealed. It was $32. Granted, you could probably get some of this stuff a little cheaper online, but it's always good to support local places. Now, I heard from my buddy Nerd Locations when we were doing the event at the Back to the Future event down in Hill Valley at Universal. He was saying that this was in that area. And obviously, it's changed a lot, but he was under the impression that this photo was taken at Universal Hollywood. And yes, I did get a spooky album.
You did.
Walt Disney Studios' Chilling, Thrilling Sounds of the Haunted Mansion. Spooky Sound Effects, 1979.
Oh, it's on a translucent smoke color vinyl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a cool color vinyl.
There it is, the translucent, spooky, frightening situations vinyl. That's what this side says. Disneyland vinyl. That is really cool looking. It's not a soundtrack, it's just spooky noises. Night creatures, haunted house, dungeon, witches, encounters in the fog, bad scientist, and a grave robber track. Love it. The creepy bats up there and that owl. This is some terrifying bats. Turn your home into a haunted house. Spine-chilling, heart-pounding, hair-raising sound effects.
This album will knock your socks off.
Look at that. It'll scare the socks off you. Parental guidance.
Whoa.
Is suggested. Came out in 79. Micah said he has the original one. I got the reproduction, colored version, 2023, the colored vinyl. Look at this. We were just talking about Dr. Frankenstein and his monster. When you see Frankenstein's monster, do you just call him Frankenstein?
Yes.
Exactly.
I know what he is.
Right.
I know what it is.
Well, when I go park at Universal Hollywood parking garage, and there's Frankenstein's monster's photo, it doesn't say Frankenstein's monster parking. It says Frankenstein parking.
Right. It's like the thing with Jaws or Bruce the Shark. You can call him Jaws.
Yeah, that's another one.
It's like, who cares?
Right.
The fact that people are talking about it this many years later is amazing.
I'm going to be talking about this bat face many years later.
Dude, those bats are amazing.
Since we're out and about, going to go by another record store, Park Ave CDs. Last time I was here, I was inquiring why Park Ave CDs is called that when it's not on Park Avenue. And the reason is, I was informed that they moved here. It used to be on Park Avenue.
Really?
That's why.
Huh.
It's kind of confusing. It's on the corner of Winter Park Road and something else.
Yeah.
But no, Park Ave CDs. One thing I'd like to do is buy an album in close proximity where I saw a band perform. And I got a couple ideas, so I could probably grab something in here and then swing by a venue where I saw said band. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, Park Ave CDs, really good selection. And evidently the other place that we were just in, the Retro Records, they've been open for like 20 or 30 years. Never knew that, but they have different owners. But been around a long time, and their selection was amazing. And I can definitely continue to go in there in the future. But right now, perusing around Park Ave. All right, I ended up purchasing a few. 2 spooky albums and 1 not so spooky. Typo Negative, Bloody Kisses. This album was released, and shortly after this album was released, I ended up seeing this band opening up for Pantera. I think it was 94, maybe early 95, but it was either 94 or 95 on the release of this album. And I saw them at the Edge Concert Field. I think I'm going to go by there. I've been wanting to get this on vinyl for a while. I also picked up Part 7, The New Blood, on vinyl, which comes with an insert. I'm curious to see what's in there. I figured today, if I'm going to buy a Friday the 13th soundtrack, that's the one. It's a double disc. That's the first one that Kane Hodder played Jason in. It's also filmed in Bay Minette, and I've been to there, Alabama, Bay Minette, Alabama, which is kind of close to the Florida Panhandle, close to New Orleans, kind of wedged into the Alabama portion, into that area. I've been there a couple times. So now I have the vinyl. And one of my favorite musicals ever, love La La Land. I mean, I absolutely love La La Land. I'll pick that up on vinyl as well. In fact, one of the reasons I moved back to Hollywood after I lived in Orange County for a while, moved to Hollywood Boulevard 2017 to 2019, was inspired by seeing La La Land, and that made me miss LA. I don't know, I just love that movie. When it comes to the last 20 years of movies about LA, it's in the, I think, the top 3. It's like a love letter to Los Angeles. So pick that up, and it has all the songs on it with Emma and Gosling singing. But yeah, spooky album right there. Bloody Kisses and spooky movie soundtrack. Friday the 13th, Part 7. The New Blood. I like The New Blood. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. I liked it better than Part 8, which was the...
You got The New Blood.
Takes Manhattan. Take a look at that. Splattered vinyl there. And you'll hear that the AC in my car is on at full blast because it is hot outside.
93 degrees.
That's outside. In here, it's probably like 118.
Yeah.
There he is. Kane has Voorhees with the little weed trimmer thing. Just stopped by the old Ace Cafe. Also was a country bar called 8 Seconds for a while, way back in the day. But I remember this from the early 90s, mid 90s, as the Edge Concert Field. Home of the very first Warped Tour, 1995, took place inside that building. And also right here in the Edge Concert Field, 1995, first Warped Tour. Also saw Green Day play right out here. The stage was set up in this very spot, and I was standing right over there looking at Billy and the rest of the crew. Also Offspring played here when Smash blew up. And I saw Pantera right here, Phil Anselmo and 95 maybe?
95.
I have to look it up. I'm going to say 90. It may even have been 94. Oh, Warped Tour was 95. Warped Tour was 95. I think Pantera might have been 94. But I got to see Typo Negative playing this album right here. Of course, the hit off there would have been Black Number 1. That was the big hit. Sludgy metal. Very gothic-y, very horror-esque. Took place right in here. It's always fun to buy an album, show back up where I saw said album played live. Ace Cafe. So probably, I don't know, 100 concerts inside there. Talked about this before, but never mentioned Typo Negative. This is way before that building right there was there. That building right there is brand new. And the parking lot for the Edge used to be right over there. Now it's a Lynx bus station. Here is some splattered green.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Vinyl
Yeah.
right there. You got the cemetery on the back. I wonder where that cemetery is. Man, I remember when Pantera played. Phil Anselmo comes out. You hear some guitar feedback. Whole place is packed. It's like 4,000 people crammed right here. He walks out and he goes, "If you don't want to dance," he was saying it a lot more aggressively than I'm saying it. "If you don't want to dance, get the F off the front."
I bet people erupted.
Yeah, oh yeah. The circle pit started here at the front of the stage. I was in it, and it went all the way back to where that car is back there.
Wow.
That's the size of the opening circle for Pantera. Probably the most brutal show I've ever been to.
Mosh pits were heavier back then, man. Like,
Yeah, it was
I
a-
I was a kid back in these days, but I remember in the late 90s and stuff, when they had mosh pits, those dudes were like
Yeah.
shirts off, like
Oh, yeah.
move kid kind of thing. Like nobody was picking each other up off the ground.
Nah, it was a war zone.
It was.
And I was a scrawny, I had no fat on my body whatsoever. I was like 170 pounds. Skanking it up. Yeah, the Lynx bus station used to be the parking lot for the Edge. Train coming through. Sunrail. Short Sunrail. That was like 2 cars. All right, any moment now. Back over on International Drive now at the former Wyndham Motel Resort where Spooky Empire used to take place and other conventions. I feel as if they're going to leave this portion and whatever the newer hotel that takes over probably leave this portion of it, but they have, again, they bulldozed all the rest of it. Spooky season. Kind of an early kickoff here on Friday the 13th in June. I mean, at some point, Halloween season will just be all year. It kind of already is like half the year, but at this. You can just see this is what is left around the backside. Alright, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, the vlog. You can always see things in clouds. Not really seeing anything in this. Well, see a couple things. I'll see you in the next video, the vlog is over. Whoa! There's Crystal Lake, but there's also Crystal Creek. Scary.